In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to get the biggest refund using your IRS Form W-4 for your tax withholdings. And at the very end, you're going to understand how this works and how to make the adjustments to really get the result that you're looking for. So let me go ahead and pull it up on the screen. So this is the IRS Form W-4, the online estimator, and this is how we're going to figure out how to get that refund. So this is the first thing that you're going to need to do because it's going to tell us where we're at and what we need to adjust. So I'm going to use this walkthrough just checking off single. It really doesn't matter if your filing status is married filing jointly or single. Just make sure that you put what applies to you. Now, down here, it's going to say, do you have a job? Basically, it's asking you if you have earned income. I'm going to say yes and go to the next page. So here's where you're going to enter in your job information. So it doesn't matter if it's salary or hourly. Again, whatever applies to you. I'm just going to check off salary for this walkthrough, and we're going to put a bunch of this information. Really what I want to get at here is how to make the adjustment. It's not what I'm putting in, it's how you're going to figure out what that adjustment should be. So now we're going to enter in the wages or salary per pay period, and I'll just put in $5,000 and salary year to date. Let's say we made $50,000 so far, and that puts us at an even $100,000. Is that right? I'm just going to say yes, and I'm going to go ahead and put the taxes withheld per pay period. And I am just going to make this stuff up just so we can see the walkthrough. So let's say that we withheld $250 per pay period because that's what my pay stub would show. And then let's say that we did $3,500 year to date. So then we'll scroll to the bottom and click next. I'm not going to do any adjustments, not going to do any deductions, just choose the standard deduction, no itemizing here, and no tax credits, and we'll go to the last page. Now, as it applies to you, you want to put in all the information for yourself. So put in those deductions, put in those credits. So here's what we want to look at first. So the first thing is, what's our expected tax withholding? It's going to be $6,000. That means if I don't make any changes to my IRS Form W-4, then I should expect that my tax withholdings will be $6,000. But when I file my taxes, it's going to say your tax liability for 2023 was $14,266, but you only withheld $6,000. Therefore, you owe us $8,266. Now, our tax system is a pay-as-you-go system, so you can't just decide that you're not going to withhold and then pay at the end of the year. But that's not why you're watching this video. You want the max refund, or at least how to adjust your W-4 to exactly what you want. There's a reason why we needed to go through this, so I'm going to show you that. So if we scroll down, and right here kind of explains it. So if we didn't fill in anything and we just left it as is, and we just resubmitted our IRS Form W-4 by signing it, it says it right here. Your standard withholding is $594. How do they get that number? That number is based on your income and your filing status. From there, we're going to go ahead and make adjustments. So if we filled out the W-4, I'm just going to go ahead and click it here and show you. If we didn't fill in anything, we just left this all blank, only filled out this top section with your name, your last name, social security, address, checked off your filing status, and then went down to step 5 and signed it, then we can expect a withholding of $594. Now let's go ahead into our paycheck calculator and just see how accurate that really is. So semi-monthly, $100,000. And what is it withholding? Then our federal taxes are withholding $594.19. And what did we say it was? Look at that, $594. So that is where we're starting. That was really important for us to figure this out. But also the reason I wanted to go through this is because I can't just go ahead and resubmit a new IRS Form W-4 and assume that it would be $594 in this scenario, because if it was submitted differently, which I can't necessarily figure out, let's say that you had $200 in the credit section and you're looking at your own paycheck, and then you're trying to figure out, well, how much different will it be? Well, if you just added, say, like $100 down here in the extra withholding section, you can't assume that it's just going to be an extra withholding of $100. Why? Because it's based on the $594 that we had on the other page, and then it's going to be $594 plus this amount. So I hope that makes sense as to why we're doing this, going through this first, rather than just sticking the amount of extra withholdings that we want in step 4C. So that's the first thing that we need to do, so we can really get an idea of what our paycheck is going to be. So the maximum amount now that I can go in and put in here, if we go to our federal taxes on this paycheck estimator, I have 4 boxes, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Go back to here. Those are the same boxes of 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I entered in $574, that would be the amount that I need to get to zero refund and zero. So what did we just say that was? 574? 574. So I put in 574. Then my paycheck would be $2,679. Now, if I went back here and I wanted the biggest paycheck possible, and it's likely that's not really what you want, but I'm going to show you how to do it anyways. So we can literally add 574. So I'm taking out my calculator and adding 574. And then I'm going to also add that to my total pay of $2,679.73. So plus $2,679.73 is withholding $3,253.73. So if I put that in here now, $3,253.73 is going to leave me with a paycheck of 0. And that's the maximum that you can withhold given this paycheck. So you can withhold every last dollar, and what's left is just a tax liability. And then I'm going to get a big fat refund check. So if we put this number in there, I'll copy that for a second, and we will go back and enter that in. I don't know if that actually copied, but it's not a big deal. If we go back in here and enter in the federal taxes per pay period, let's say that we're going to do $3,253.73 and go to the very end. We're going to get a huge refund. Huge refund. So this is the maximum amount. We're going to get a projected refund of $21,764. So it is going to keep the $14,266, but our total taxes that we will withhold from here moving forward is going to be $36,030. So $36,030 gives us a huge refund of $21,764. Obviously, that's not what you want. Hopefully, that obviously is not what you want. Now, let's say this was a second or third job. It's possible you can withhold it all on one paycheck and it could be 0, and then you just keep the income from the other paychecks. But basically what I'm saying is if we come back into here and we go ahead and enter in, because it threw that 3,253 back in here. So 3,253.73, and that gives us our 0 again. But let's say that we wanted a little bit different amount. So we can just subtract it from that. So the number we had before was 574. So let's say that we wanted another, this is per paycheck, so you can just do the math from however many paychecks you have moving forward. But you can do 1,000 or 1,574. Was that 574? Yeah, 74. So that would be an extra $1,000. So from our estimation here, let's say we had 10 more paychecks. Then that's going to be $10,000 that we're going to get back. However many paychecks you have, you can multiply it by that. So first you can figure out what will get you to 0 and then work backwards from that by adding the additional tax withholdings. Here's what most people get confused on, and it's really not, it's trying to do this as fast as humanly possible and just saying, well, what do I put here? Well, what if I have a child? I'll put in 2,000 and this and that, and all of a sudden you realize that your taxes are all messed up. So you're either having to owe or you're getting a refund, but you are nervous about it because you're not taking the time necessarily to go through these sections. So if you had the child tax credit here and we entered it in and say I had a 5-year-old, then even if we had 2 kids, 3-year-old, whatever, we go to the very end, and this is what throws a lot of people off, is that the W-4, let's go ahead and get rid of that extra tax withholdings we had before, 250. before. The results will give us a new W-4 printout, and that printout, oddly, to most people, is going to be, oh, wait a second, it forgot to add this in, so let me go ahead and enter it in. That's not how you do it. It already made the adjustment for you because you need to withhold so much more that it's saying, yeah, you're still going to get that child tax credit or whatever other credit you're going to qualify for. But if you want to get your tax withholdings correct, just withhold $130 more than whatever your baseline is. And in this case, that baseline is $594. So that is going to be the amount that will be withheld. It'll be $594 plus $130. So $594 plus $594 plus $130 is $724. So I put in $130, and what did we say? $724. There you go. Federal income tax withholdings totaling $724. That's how you can figure out. So if you really do want a refund, that's how you figure it out. But in all honesty, you should use the online estimator and try to get to zero. You shouldn't be looking for that refund. If you're nervous about it, build a cash reserve. That's what I would do. If I'm nervous about having to owe at the end of the year and I don't have it saved, well, start to save it then. It's better to save it, especially right now with these interest rates. Just put it in the bank, put it in the savings account. Don't invest it, just put it in the savings account, emergency fund, maybe more than emergency fund. And then all of a sudden you're ready to, or prepared if you have to pay a couple $100s or even a couple $1,000. You can prepare for this stuff and do better for yourself financially, because even 1% more is 1% more on the money that you could put in the bank rather than give it to the IRS. But don't run the risk of an underpayment penalty by saying, you know what, let's go into the reverse and I'll just pay at the end of the year. You have to pay as you go. That's the system that we have. So get your tax withholdings correct. Go through the online estimator, enter in all your information in, and then go ahead and print out that last page. And by the last page, I mean this right here. There's a print button right there. Print it out, save it, and then come back to this quarterly and make sure that it's correct. And that will tell you exactly what you need to do. So hope that has helped. If it has, let me know in the comments down below. And if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.